Everybody, and I mean everybody loves referrals, but most of you, let's just be honest, do not have a system in place to systematically get referrals from four types of referral people. There are your former clients, your current clients, your former business relationships, and your current business relationships. Other lawyers, non-competing lawyers. On this podcast episode, I got to interview Delisi Friday, cool name, right? And we talked about specifically how to create systems for generating referrals, attracting a lot of referrals, what specific tactics to implement to get referrals, and who is going to help you implement those tactics in your business, because frankly, who's got the time to do all that stuff? Not you, but somebody else on your team should. We talk about all of those things. It's a very practical episode. Tune in, take notes, implement them in your business. You're going to love it. Hi there. I have a small but really meaningful favor to ask you. I watch at the stats on our YouTube channel and Spotify channel, wherever most people listen and watch our podcast. And I see that over 80% of everybody who listens to it regularly is not a subscriber. I'm asking you to subscribe to this channel. And the reason for that is my mission and the mission of my team is to help as many small law firm owners to learn how to transform their law firms into better businesses, and so they in turn enjoy better lives. When you hit subscribe button, you tell these platforms that this is content worth listening, worth viewing, and they in turn will show it to many other small law firm owners and hopefully help me fulfill our mission of helping them create a better business and enjoy better lives. So would you please do me this favor? It would mean the world to me, and hit the subscribe button. And my promise to you is that I will continue to work hard at creating good content with practical ideas that help you and your teams grow better law firms. Thank you. Welcome to Grow Law Podcast. I have an awesome guest with me here today, Delisi Friday. I've actually been following your podcast since its very beginning, which is not that long ago, but I feel like I know you because I've been following you and I've heard your life story, how your dad became a lawyer on the day that you were actually born, and how you grew up around the law firm, rose through the ranks, have done every job but accounting.
God, you know it's so good.
Yeah, because I listen to you, I feel like it's the power of podcasts, right? Like when you listen to someone, you feel like you know them, but you and I just met like 15
Yes.
minutes ago. Not even. So welcome to the show. It's amazing to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and join the ranks of some of my colleagues whose episodes I've listened to as well on your show.
100%. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. or Mrs. Law Firm Owner, the reason why I really wanted to have Delisi Friday on this podcast is she knows and talks about and trains lawyers and their staff how to create referral systems within their business. I have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of guests on this podcast over the years. No one has ever talked about how to do it systematically, like who are the people who should be your referral sources, and how to develop those referral systems that in many cases your staff will run for you, and you will reap the rewards of getting referrals consistently. Tell us how this stuff works.
First, it starts by identifying who your target audience is for referrals. So, whenever I train a lawyer on referral marketing, I tell them there are 4 different audiences for referrals: your former clients, your current clients, your current referral partners, and your future referral partners. And so creating a system that works for you when it comes to referrals starts with identifying who do you want to target first. I usually recommend 1 to 2 of those audiences, not trying to do all of them because that's just too much at once. And then deciding, okay, how much time, team, and tools do I have available to me? So then I can initiate an action to stay up to date with and nurture those relationships so they in turn can lead to referrals. So it starts by figuring out who you want to target and then deciding, okay, how much time do I have? Who on my team can help with this? And what tools do I have available? And sometimes tools is money, just saying how much budget can I allocate for nurturing those referrals? And then taking it from there. But the key is also action, because what I see time and time again is people know how important referrals are, and we can come up with this big, beautiful plan and this strategy. But if you don't take the action, that's the key part of all of this, taking the action consistently.
It's like buying a gym membership, feeling elated because you bought it, and then never going. Does
Yes,
little good.
100%. I use that analogy all the time. It's like going to the gym. You got to work out the muscle before you
Mm-hmm.
actually see the results.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm thinking about. The moment that you start talking about 4 different types of people who can drive referrals to your law firm or to you, I instantly thought about Warren Buffett. So his philosophy on investments is think about it like you have 20 potential moves to make your entire career, like up to 20 investments that you're going to make. Once you think about it as a very finite number, you're going to think, and you're going to keep those investments forever. So you better make good decisions. So when I think about 4 potential targets, or even choosing 2, I instantly think, where's the highest long-term ROI? So past clients, current referral partners, potential referral partners. Where's the highest ROI? What should they focus on first?
The first place I would start is your former clients. And the
Why?
reason why I say former clients is because former clients are the easiest referrals to receive because they can talk about the experience they had at your law firm in a very personal way.
Mm-hmm.
They can be easy advocates for your law firm because when someone says, "Hey, I need a family law attorney. I'm going to go through a divorce." If I'm your former client and you provided me an excellent service when I was going through my divorce, me referring someone to your law firm is so strong, so strong. No ad will ever compete with the level of trust and sincerity that comes from that referral because I experienced what it's like to work with your law firm. And so the easiest is former clients. If they had a great relationship with you and your staff and a good experience, naturally those referrals will happen because family and friends are going to reach out to someone who has worked with a lawyer like this in the past. And it also usually takes less budget to nurture those relationships because you spent the time that you worked on their case nurturing that relationship. All you have to do to generate the referral after is stay in touch with them. And so that can be as simple as adding them to an email list if you want to do email marketing. If you believe in newsletter marketing, I'm a huge fan of direct mail, and I know you are too. Direct mail stands out. It doesn't just go to the junk box, right? It stands out. And if you don't want to do any of those, the simplest set it and forget it campaign you can do is a happy birthday card. I know it sounds so simple. Why would that be successful? And it's because no one sends out happy birthday cards anymore. No one. If you think about it, when's the last time someone sent you a happy birthday card? Even my own mom sends me a happy birthday text. So the card is so much more meaningful, especially when it's from your lawyer and you get it in the mail and you feel thankful and excited that someone remembered. It's very simple. There are companies like Handwritten that'll do it for $3.50 to $5. You literally set it and forget it. You can do an entire campaign for a year and spend less than an hour, less than $5 a card to set it and forget it. And then it's done. And you stay top of mind at least once a year with that happy birthday card. That's the best return on investment, in my opinion, when it comes to referrals, because those former clients are gold. They are literal gold.
They're really simple advice, and I assume that most lawyers do not implement. Like I had a horrific personal injury case personally in 2004, and my lawyer forever would send me like calendar magnets that you would put on the refrigerator. But now most refrigerators have those plastic. I mean, they look like aluminum, but they're really or stainless steel rather, but they're really plastic. So he stopped sending those. I don't know why. I referred quite a bit of business to him over the years. No birthday cards, but you know who sends me birthday cards? My State Farm insurance agent, without a fail. I've been a client for nearly 25 years.
Wow.
And every birthday, I get a birthday card. Here's who else sends birthday cards. And thank you. Handwritten, not really handwritten,
There's this amazing piece of technology that you can buy for your office, and it's like it's an attachment that you put on a desk, and it's basically it writes like in your handwriting. It will write cards for you. My business partner and I, we acquired a substantial stake in a very large moving company. A moving company where average transaction is under $2,000. They send thank you cards and birthday cards for one reason. An average American household moves every 7 years, and they want that business today, and they want it in 7 years.
Ooh, yeah.
The cost of maintaining that relationship by sending a thank you card, happy holidays card, and a birthday card, it's about $5 per year, multiplied by 6 years in between. Here comes the next $2,000 transaction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the lowest customer acquisition cost ever, or customer retention cost ever. There's another thing to what I believe you just said. When you get professional referrals, in most cases, lawyers share revenue. That case acquisition costs seem to be some of the highest case acquisition costs that there could be. I've seen lawyers pay 25%, 30%, 33%, 40%. 40% of what you generate in revenue goes to the referral partner. That is an astonishingly high cost of acquiring a client versus sending your existing clients birthday cards, happy holiday cards. So simple, yet most don't do it.
Yes. I love it. You know, I love that you shared the example of other industries too. I think sometimes we get so focused on legal marketing that we forget to learn from others.
Yes.
Realtors, insurance agents, financial advisors, all of those industries do a really great job of staying in touch with their former clients. We can do the same things that they do too, just apply them to the legal industry. So thank you for bringing up the other examples because all of those we can use and it can benefit us as well.
And here's what's also very interesting. When you think about like family law or personal injury, average case value is substantially higher than moving company or insurance company or almost any of those industries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so inexpensive to send out those cards. And the newsletter, by the way, there's awesome technology today with Claude. If you're running a podcast or produce any type of content, Claude can actually build your newsletter automatically so quickly. Yes, my business partner, he is our like chief AI officer. He recently sent me 12 months worth of newsletters from me because I create a lot of content here, and I'm like, hmm. And he's like, yeah, Claude did it. I created like this whole bunch of prompts. It looked at all of your podcasts with all of your guests, with all of the offers, all of your short form videos. And like, here are 12 months worth of newsletters. What do you think? And I'm like, this is like content that was written by Claude was A minus out of the gate. It's not optimized for search. It's not optimized for AI search, but it's great for a newsletter. Free. Or almost free. My business partner is a real smart guy and really expensive, but
Well,
aside
and
from that,
think about what is the highest and best use of your time. Our John used to say that all the time. So I think in that way a lot. The highest and best use of your time is not creating all of that content. You've already done it before. However, if you can use Claude to get it to B plus A minus, and then you refine it to be your words, your thoughts, and make it meet the criteria you have for product that you're happy to send out, that is worth your time. You spent significantly less time creating that content. You've just refined it to send it out. Now you can go spend those hours doing something else, bringing in more business.
percent except for, and this is where my partner disagreed with me because my thinking was also like me refine it, or our chief editor-in-chief refines it, or one of the writers refines it. And he's like, no, we're not going to spend a penny on this. And the reason for that is it's A minus. It's free at A minus, or it's very expensive at A or A plus. He's like, the readers are not going to care. They're not going to know the difference. But we will, because we're going to see that additional expense. So he's like, absolutely not. I had to agree with him. I think it was the right approach, or it is the right approach. So we're going to launch it next month. So very, very, very interesting. So maintaining relationships with existing clients really or past clients really comes down to that. Birthday card, holiday card, something
Yes.
else?
Birthday card is an easy one because you can systematize that. I'm all about creating a system that you can set it and forget it, and
Mm-hmm.
something gets done instead of some kind of barrier that's going to get in the way. The other thing is, yes, holiday cards. However, what I would add is everyone does gifts and holiday cards in December.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone does it. And so whenever you do that, you get lost in the mix because you're competing with everyone else who does it.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I suggest to all of my clients is make November the new December. And shout out to Michael James, one of my clients who helped me come up with that phrase. November is a month that's all about gratitude and thankfulness and appreciation. And if you use that month and say, okay, what am I thankful for? What am I grateful for? And send out cards and gifts in November instead of December, it can still have the same impact, even more so than when you do it in December, because you're not competing with anyone else. You're doing something in November before everyone else does, and you stand out. So I love the idea of tweaking the idea of a holiday card and instead focusing around being thankful and sincere and appreciative and grateful in November so you don't get lost in December. And then thinking through, is there anything else that I could do so there's a third touch point? That could be something as simple as, hey, have a great summer. Here is our 10 favorite things to do in the community in the summertime, because maybe your law firm focuses on a certain area and you want to target former clients in a specific city or metropolitan area. You can come up with other things. You could say, on my birthday, I'm thankful for the clients that I've served and being able to live a life where I'm proud of what I do. I could send out a client mailer on my birthday instead of on theirs. I haven't seen anyone do that yet. I've been sharing that
I love
idea.
it.
No one's taken me
I'm
up on it
taking
yet.
notes.
Maybe you can.
So I'm going to execute on this one. Interestingly, so my team uses Slack. We have close to 100 employees. So
Uh-huh.
every July 31st, which I believe is the day when you kicked off your podcast, because it's my birthday.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and every one of my birthdays, I record a video message in Slack for entire team to see, and I express gratitude to them. Before they even wish me happy birthday, I'm like, listen, another birthday, another day where I'm extremely grateful for all of you guys. I'm grateful for our clients. And I'm even more grateful to you guys for being here because you're making it all happen. So every single birthday without fail, but I'm like, why don't we send that? As soon as you open your mouth and start talking about it, I'm like, why don't I send that to our
that's
clients?
your idea. You're
Yeah.
already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You can send it to your current clients and you can send it to any former clients, but you could send the exact same message and still record it the same way you just described, but just
Mm-hmm.
add your current clients to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just jotted that down. I feel like this is not a podcast episode, but this is a class for me. I'm learning
We're
from
just
from you
recording
what
our
I need to do.
conversation.
Yeah, no, this is really useful for me actually. And there's something that you mentioned that we have done for years is we send out our holiday gifts 1 week before Thanksgiving
Oh,
for
good.
the very reason that you mentioned. For the very reason
Good.
it's unexpected, it's unasked
Mhm.
for, it's undeserved. It just shows up and they're like, "Whoa, it's third week of November and we get this beautiful gift basket. Who's it from? Oh, it's the guys from Grow a Law. That's awesome." So, um, yeah. We actually do a lot of gift giving. I think it's somewhat atypical to the industry, but all of our clients get a gift on their anniversary. So when they've been with us for a year, they get a gift and it's every year. And when they send us a referral, we send them a gift and we do a little bit of revenue share for sure. And there are a few other things, but I still feel that it's not systematic enough. And I confided in you before we hit the record button is that I feel like we do not have a solid referral system in place. So let's move on to the other type of referral source, which are professional
Mhm.
referral sources. For attorneys, obviously, it's other attorneys who are not competing attorneys. If you and I were to buy a law firm and that law firm had like zero referral system, it's very standard. Referrals happen haphazardly. Like sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we get 3 in a month, sometimes a quarter goes by and we get 0. Like, what is it that we do in the first couple of months to install a referral system with professional referral sources?
Yes. I actually had someone ask me that because now we have, what is it, 5 different states in the United States that have ABS, where a non-lawyer like me could own a law firm.
Is
So
it
a couple
five
of people
already?
have reached out and said, "Hey, Delisi, if I started a law firm, would you do it with me and we could build it on referrals?" And I'm like, oh, that's actually a possibility now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so here's what I would say. First, I would start by creating a list of the contacts that I have in different practice areas. I have 5 practice areas that I consider the 5 core practice areas every lawyer should know. 1, personal injury. Personal injury doesn't discriminate. Everyone can get into a car crash. So you should have a personal injury lawyer that you send those cases to and refer to because there's someone that you trust. Second, family law. I think the statistic is 38 to 41% of first marriages in the United States end in divorce. So the odds are very likely you will know someone in your network who needs a divorce. The third is going to be an employment law attorney. I love to know an employment law attorney who not only helps the businesses, but also employees who might have a wrongful termination case. Because so many of us work, the odds of someone needing an employment law attorney at some point in time are very high. Fourth is criminal defense. I say criminal defense because, in my opinion, and my dad's a criminal defense attorney, criminal defense is one of the higher practice areas to get referrals because people don't like to publicly announce that they need a criminal defense attorney. They will reach out to their family and friends who will keep things quiet and who they trust with referral because it's something they don't want to share, but they know how extremely important it is to hire the right lawyer. And then the fifth one is going to be those estate planning and probate attorneys. Those are my favorites to have in my network because every single one of us should have an estate plan before we pass away. We should. Or if you don't have an estate plan, realistically, someone close to you, a parent or a grandparent, is going to pass away, and you'll have to, at that point in time, work with a probate attorney. And estate planning and probate attorneys can have generations of referrals if you think about it. You could do the will for a mom and dad. They become grandparents, they pass away, their kids now have to work with the estate planning attorney. They see how important it is, they hire the attorney. And so those 5 practice areas are, in my opinion, the core you should have in your network. If I were starting a law firm, I would think of those 5 lawyers, create a list of them, make friends with them, and keep in touch with them every 30 to 60 days and say, "Hey, Sasha, I just wanted to follow up with you. You are my first person to refer a case to if someone has a divorce. I was checking with intake right now. We haven't had any of those lately, but I just wanted to check in and let you know you're still on my list for those referrals. I have you down for divorces, child custody, and any situation where the 2 individuals getting divorced are in the military. Is that still correct?" "Yes, it is." "Okay, great. Just wanted to double check. So when I do refer you a case, it's a case you accept." And so I would stay in touch with those people, use a script kind of similar to that, and start with those 5. And then after that, I would reach out to people who I interact with on a regular basis who are my hidden referral partners. So if you think about neighbors, people who you interact with on a regular basis, all of your neighbors know you personally, and they have their sphere of influence who may need a referral. I would be in touch with them and having conversations with them on a regular basis. I would also use the Nextdoor app and Facebook groups. I would start there because both of those are free. The Nextdoor app has people asking for lawyer recommendations every week. I'm not joking. You can I would actually love it for someone to call me out on this so I could prove it. I refer an estate planning attorney a case or a family law attorney a case 1 to 2 times a week because of the Nextdoor app and because of Facebook groups. Facebook groups is a second place because so many people are a part of a group and they're asking people they know and care about for referrals on those. And those are easy places to get referrals. So if I were starting a law firm, I'd start with those 5 practice areas. I would think about my family and friends in my personal network, stay in touch with them, make sure they know what I do and who I help. And I would go to the Nextdoor app every week and Facebook groups every week and do a search for lawyer and attorney. And there are referrals to be made every single week in those places. It's free. And not enough people are on there taking advantage of those referrals.
I think Nextdoor is a very fresh idea. I've never heard that one, so that's
No?
absolutely awesome.
Oh,
And it's
I
interesting.
go to it multiple times a week. You should tell all your clients about it. There's so many attorney referrals in that app. So many.
Never thought about it. Makes perfect sense. I know people do ask questions there, so that's really awesome. But I want to go back to professional referrals. So you mentioned that you go through your digital Rolodex and you're like, here are the people that you know, other attorneys, not competing attorneys, and you call them and you verify that they still accept this type of cases. So you do it on the first call, but what about the second call and the third call? Like, you do not want to sound stupid calling them every 3 months and say, like, I just want to make sure you still do this type of cases. Like, you don't want to have that call 4 times a year. So
Yeah.
the next call and the next call and the call after that, like, what do you do? And are they calls? Are they emails or text messages?
No, that's a great question because no one ever wants to feel salesy or annoying, which is what prevents people from doing this because they don't want to feel that way. And the key is not being salesy and annoying, always providing value. So if I called you and asked that same question over and over to you, you would say, I don't want to answer Delisi's calls anymore. Unless she has a case, I'm not picking it up. But what if that next month I didn't ask you that question? I sent you an email and I said, hey, Sasha, I'm sharing this episode of the Grow Law podcast with Sasha and Delisi. I just listened to it and it was all about generating referrals for your law firm. I think it would be a great episode for you to listen to as well. So here's a link for you. You can share a podcast. It's a valuable podcast that lawyer can get value from. It reminds them that you are thinking of them. And it's a way to follow up without asking about a case. I'm just sharing a resource with you. Sharing a podcast episode is an easy way to stay in touch with your referral partners. The touch point doesn't always have to be, hey, send me a case. In fact, I don't want it to be because no one's going to want
Never.
to keep in touch with that person.
Yep.
But I very regularly will share podcast episodes with clients and people in my network. Another way to do it is just be a human. If one of my referral partners shares a post on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and I need to stay in touch with them, I don't comment on their long thread with everyone else. I'll send them a text or I'll send them a direct message or I'll give them a phone call and say, hey, Sasha, I just heard that you are about to celebrate 18 years in business. That is absolutely amazing. I am so happy for you. What are you guys doing to celebrate? That's what I would do. And that's just being a human. That's just me interacting with you and staying in touch and doing something very natural. The touch point doesn't have to be the same each time. Just, I know it sounds simple, but just be a human and engage with people and stay in touch and stay connected. It's very analog. It's very simple. It's very natural. But that's what it should be. These are relationships and you're nurturing them. So follow up, share a podcast episode, send them a message or call them when they're doing something and you have something to say. Don't do everything on social media. True connection is one-to-one. It's not typing some words on a keyboard, although I do think there's value in that. But you can't replace the connection I have with you when I talk to you. So pick up the phone or send a text message. It just depends on what you feel comfortable with. But don't always do the script asking about a case. Be a person and care about them.
So that makes a lot of sense. But Delissi, I have to give you pushback here. And
Mhm.
here's why. So I'm imagining that if I develop referral relationships with 100 people, or if I'm working on developing those referral relationships with 100 people, which feels like a system to me rather than 3 people, which doesn't feel like a system to me. But 100.
Mm-hmm.
And they're attorneys, non-competing attorneys in those 5 primary practice areas. And so I have a bunch of them, like 20 in each one. And 25% of them send me referrals every year. Let's say a couple of referrals. So I'm getting 50 cases out of it. So it's incredibly valuable. Yet staying in touch with 100 people every month is 1,200 communications per year. And that sounds like insane amount of work, not even work, but a cognitive load. So how do I systematize it and make it easy enough for my executive assistant or just an assistant of sorts to handle instead of me, even if not the whole thing, but a big part of it, because I ain't got time for that.
Yes, agreed. When you reach those kinds of numbers and you have that many referral partners, that's where we go back to time, team, and tools. So let's say you have 75 referral partners. What I would do is say, okay, we can do a couple different things. We can say we do not have the time, team, and tools to do something every 30 days. Let's agree on doing something once a quarter. And what are those things? It's a happy birthday card, a holiday card, it's a summer gift, and it's sharing a podcast episode that we agree on, and it's an email. It's a variety of different things. Let's say you can do more than that. Then I would say, who can we delegate some of those tasks to? Is it a person or is it an agency? And what does that look like? I love gifting for relationships, and you and I were talking about that earlier. There's something really special about gifting for relationships. So can we say, okay, let's agree that we're going to do a spring gift. And every spring in April, we're going to send a gift out, and it's an edible arrangement that says, we think referrals are so sweet. Enjoy this on us. I love puns. I love puns. And so you can do that, and you can decide who receives that gift. The key is to take the action, but also to determine how much budget do you have? How can we actually get this done? And do they all deserve that same gift, or do I need to divide it up? I'm a huge fan. Once you hit a certain amount of referral partners, you should be tiering your list, because not everyone deserves the same time and attention. You also only have so much time and money to spend. So once you get to whatever number that might be for your firm, you need to tier your list. Not everyone's going to get the edible arrangement, but maybe everyone gets a birthday card. Not everyone should get the invite to this exclusive party that you're going to have, but maybe they all get, your holiday gift in November. And so that's where you just have to think to yourself, what's really feasible here and who can help me? Or if I do it myself, let's make sure it's once a quarter, and it doesn't need to be every 30 days, because that's too much. The only time I would recommend 30 days is if you have a full-time person who's in-house nurturing those relationships, and we agree what that follow-up is every 30 days. And if someone wants to know what that looks like, they can send me an email, because that used to be my job. When I was at Michael Cowan's office, that was my job. I can come up with a million different ways to stay in touch with a lawyer every 30 days and not be annoying. That's my special gift. That's why I'm here in this world.
Absolutely awesome. And as I was listening to you, I was thinking about my executive assistant and thinking that I would need to hand that off to her. She's incredibly smart. She's overseas. She's based in Philippines. She makes an amazing income for Philippines, terrible income for US, but there she's like amazing income. Super smart, equivalent of MBA in marketing. And yeah, she could totally execute on something like that. With
Yeah.
some oversight, but not me like actually doing the physical work, because I ain't got the time.
Yes, exactly. If you just did one thing once a year, and then two things, and then three things, those things can add up, but you can delegate it. You can delegate gifting if you have names and addresses. That's it. That little piñata-gram back there. I did a partnership with piñata-grams. Here.
What is piñata-gram?
You can send this out for less than $50. I've got a discount code, and it says, everyone loves referrals and candy. They will bulk send this for you, and then you open this up, you put a little message on the inside, Thank you for your referral, Sasha. We really love it. Have a great year, whatever it is. You can send that out for less than $50, and all you need is the names and the addresses. Your executive assistant can do it, and you give them your corporate card, and it's done, and it's special. And no one throws those things away because they're too cute.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening to this but are not watching this on YouTube or somewhere on social, they are cute. You
They're
gotta
cute.
watch you gotta watch this episode. That is absolutely awesome. So I keep thinking that a lot of this has to be delegated to an executive assistant for this to be effective because nobody has the time to actually. And the reason why I use the number 100, it's a round number, and the volume, the number is high enough where you should be getting some business out of it. And I also thought about another thing, like if you are getting referrals, even from half or a quarter of this list, I would send a gift to everyone because by law of reciprocity, at some point, if they're not sending you referrals now, they may start sending you referrals 3 years from now. Those gifts, we spend generous amounts on our clients. I don't know what we spend, but I know it's quite a lot every year on gifts. But it's worth it. We take care of them. They feel like it's something nice that we do for them. Our customer lifetime value, I mean, customers stay with us for years and years and years and years. So it's just part of what we do to treat our customers, right? And for those potential referral partners and existing referral partners, it just makes sense. I mean, you never know
Mm-hmm.
when somebody will send you that for PI lawyers, an 8-figure case. They happen once in a blue moon, but they do happen. And they usually happen by referral, not by Google or ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And I think the key to all of this is not just taking the action, but when you do
Yeah.
receive the referrals, acknowledging them and saying thank you. You made up a great point right there. I have referred cases, numerous cases to lawyers because they were the right lawyer for the case.
Mhm.
But, and maybe it's because I coach on this, I always get a little sad when someone doesn't acknowledge the referral or follow up because I think to myself, if you just said, hey, Delisi, thank you so much for referring Sasha to me. We ended up working together. He signed with me for a year. I appreciate it so much. Then I know the referral was a good referral and it ended up working out for both of you. But if there's no acknowledgement, then I think, well, what was your intake like? Did you know it was the referral for me? So
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
thank you is really important. It's a mutual relationship. And so I think the thank you is almost just as important as what you do to nurture the relationship as well.
Yeah, I think one of the acute pains that people experience is when somebody else who should be grateful silently expresses ingratitude. So thank yous are very important in everything. And that's why we teach our kids one of the first words that they learn is thank you. Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's very, very important when you get a referral to acknowledge it and maybe in a bigger way than just saying thank you. When it becomes a successful referral, like send them a gift, send them a thank you card, call them and say, hey, appreciate it. Mr. Peterson did sign up. You know, they're now a client and will be working on this case, which is amazing. Really appreciate you.
Yes,
Easy, easy.
absolutely. I would even take it a step further. One of my clients out on the East Coast, her law firm actually sends a thank you when they reject a case and it was referred. I love
Mm,
that. And I train on that because not every referral is going to convert. Sometimes it does not match your case acceptance criteria, but sending a thank you and saying, Sasha, thank you so much for referring Scott to me. Unfortunately, I couldn't help him because we weren't aligned on budget, but I want you to know I really appreciate you saying my name.
that is
That is so
absolutely awesome.
special. That is so special. And it's incredibly important for you to nurture that relationship so then the referral doesn't feel like, oh, well, I guess I don't know if this is really the right person I'm supposed to refer. I still want those referrals and I still want that person to know they matter. So sending a thank you, even if you reject the case, I'd argue is also just as important.
Now, before we wrap up, we touched on a subject that I really also wanted to cover today, which is rejected cases and the opportunity that they present for lawyers who reject those cases. Talk about how you can convert those rejected cases into actually a windfall of additional revenue without doing the work.
Yes. So For those of you who don't know my background, I've been working in law firms since I was 14 because my dad's a lawyer. So I started answering phones as my first job when I was 14 at his law firm. And one of the things my dad taught me was every time that phone rings, it's an opportunity to help someone. And we should
Mm.
never take that for granted. So at a very young age, I had a list of referral partners at my dad's office. If someone called for a practice area we couldn't help, my job was to make sure I put them in touch with the person who could. And what I learned from doing that at a very young age was every referral partner that we would send one of those cases to would send referrals back to our law firm because it was a mutually beneficial relationship. Here's the other part. After a while, those rejected leads, the ones I introduced to the right law firm, they would call back and they would remember me, not just because my name's Delissi and it's not a very common name. They remembered how I made them feel because I helped them. And they would call back and say, "Hey, Delissi, remember you introduced me to the Williams law firm for this case? Well, guess what? My friend just got into a car crash, and I know you guys don't do personal injury. Who should we call? Can you help me?" And I became a very natural connector at a young age because that rejected lead remembered I put them in touch with the right person. And so they became a referral over and over because of that experience. And I think when we consider how much money we spend to make our phones ring, you already invested the money to make your phone ring. There is no ROI. In fact, you lose money if you don't get something out of that phone call. If that something is introducing them to another lawyer to create a referral relationship, great. That will have an ROI. If that something is having that rejected lead now turn into a prospective client who has a great relationship with your firm, even though you couldn't help them, great. That has value too. And the other part of all of this is depending on your venue, your practice area, and your state rules. There's also a financial aspect to this where you can share joint responsibility and you can get a shared attorney's fees. And when that happens, you're now making money as well. And so I think every phone call into your office is an opportunity to help someone. If you already invested the money to make that phone ring, it's up to you how much of that money you make back by helping that person in some way. And that's why I'm so passionate about all of those rejected leads are still opportunities.
I love that. In fact, some of our clients very effectively created a second stream of revenue from shared attorney fees from all of their rejected cases. So, like I mentioned before we hit the record button, like it more than pays for all of their marketing, all of their advertising. They're making money on cases that they do not accept.
Yeah,
How powerful is that?
very. It's why I believe in this so much. Yes.
Yeah. But as I also confided with you before the call, before the recording, some attorneys believe that it's beneath them. So they would rather not take that additional revenue that's just there for the taking, but they're like, nah, we're not going to do this. We'll just send them off. If
I
we do. And
truly
sometimes they
believe
just
it's a
reject
mindset.
cases. It's a mindset.
It's 100% a mindset. You either have that abundance mindset or you don't. And the people
Mhm.
who have an abundance mindset, that growth mindset, those are the lawyers who grow their law firm and scale their law firm in ways those who do not will never be able to do.
Yeah. We refer out almost every single rejected prospect here. Like as long as we know that they could be a quality client for someone else, we'll
Hmm.
send them out. Even if they come and they say, like, I got $1,000 to spend on my marketing per month, we're like, here's civil, $1,000 exactly what they charge. Here's what you're going to get with them. It's not going to be a Cadillac. It's going to be something much more modest, but you're going to get this, this, and this, which are 3 things out of 5 that you want. One, an introduction, and usually, almost without a fail, they'll say, yes, introduce us because we have a need. Thank you for the
Yes,
introduction. And civil in response thanks us for those referrals, which we said very
absolutely.
consistently to them because we reject, and I assume most attorneys also reject more than they accept. Not everyone is a
Yes.
good fit.
Well, and no one is for everyone.
Hmm.
So you're not going to accept 100% of the phone calls into your office. You may as well make the most of every phone call while you're at it.
Yeah. So doing good is good business. Attracting more referrals and sending out referrals are good business on both ends. And to create systems within your business is great business. Delissi, how do people connect with you? And what's the best way to start a conversation about creating systems within their law firms?
Yes, the best way to connect with me is on LinkedIn. I am very active on LinkedIn. So for the lawyers on LinkedIn, please send me a request to connect. If you want to have a conversation with me, learn about my one on one coaching or my online community for lawyers, you can visit my website, www.firstcallfriday.com. First is spelled out, and I've got a list of my services on there. I also have a resources page. I love to share free resources. So if someone needs a template or a form or ideas, a lot of those are on my resources page. You don't even have to give me your email, it just uploads. So I share a lot of free resources on my website too. My website and LinkedIn are the best place to get in touch with me.
I also, which is probably one of the first times few times that I have ever done this on this podcast, I recommend that you actually subscribe and listen to this podcast. It's a really good podcast. I think the name of it is From Coffee to Cases, if I'm not mistaken. That's the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so
It,
much. Yes, I do
it's a,
have my own podcast, From
yeah.
Coffee to Cases on
Hmm.
Legal Podcast Network. And it's only 20-minute episodes. You
Yep.
can listen to it on your ride into the office or
Hmm.
while you're doing a quick workout. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Check it out. Alicia, thank you so much for being here and sharing all the insights.
Thank you so much for having me.